It is WNBA All-Star Week here in Chicago with the league's best in town for the first time since 2022. Candace Parker was representing the Sky for one of her 7 All-Star appearances back then. Now the Naperville native is a broadcaster and budding tech investor. I caught up with Parker today after she spoke on a panel for TechChicago Week's Global Quantum Forum, where we chatted about her interest in tech investing, her upcoming induction to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and the explosive growth and popularity of the W since the Windy City last hosted All-Star festivities.
Well, first, it's amazing to be back at home. There's no better city in the summer than Chicago. But I must say, like, just tech, I started being interested as a kid, loved science, loved math, and then just as I grew and I started becoming more curious, one of my first tech investments was Genie's and Peregrine recently. And so just being here and learning and listening and being able to be on stage with some amazing knowledgeable women. I mean, I was on stage with Nadia and Brenda. We had a great panel, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably soaking as much in as you're making contacts and learning. What do you hope to get out of this week and to get out of this the panel discussions you've been part of?
Well, I think it's just amazing to see Chicago continuing to position themselves to be at the forefront for what's to come. And I think as a city, to be able to have the type of people, I mean, just on stage, sitting there with a quantum physicist that can break down things and is just incredible. So I think just continuing to listen. I've gotten all the contacts, so I'm going to ask all the questions, and I know who to go to for it.
Is there something in the tech world that you hope to invest in that you're not already dipping your hands in?
That's a really good question. I mean, I love technology surrounding sports, just because I think that it brings the fan in a little bit more. So I'm always constantly kind of searching that. Obviously, passion of sports, passion of tech, being able to collab the two. Is
there already something in the sports world, even since you stopped playing, where you're like, man, that's I wish I had that as a resource?
Well, I just think in terms of analytics and, you know, the ability to break down the game from a different point of view. You talk about being able to come up with formulas. I'm a commentator with Amazon, and being able to come up with a formula for gravity and being able to really like put that in a formula of like what this person, you know, how does the defense shape around them? You know, you talk about SGA and Steph Curry having some of the highest gravity in the league in the NBA, and so I think those type of things, those type of numbers, the like nerd in me is really excited to break down basketball.
Fun to nerd out for sure, and that's what, you know, sports and analytics, you're right, those go hand in hand. Big sports week, as I mentioned, with the W back here for the All-Star Week. 2022 was the last time it was held in Chicago. You were, of course, an All-Star playing here for the Chicago Sky. We were talking a little bit about it, but just how the game and the league especially have transformed in those 4 years. I remember the events were mainly at Wintrust. Now you got the United Center playing host to the game on Saturday. You have events at the Obama Presidential Center all throughout the city, tech, investors and people like everywhere in every sector of life, I feel like, converging in Chicago this week.
Visibility is a real thing. When there's an opportunity for, women's basketball players to be on television and women's basketball players to be able to have their stories told and to take hold of their brand and their stories, we've seen that people want to watch and people want to be a part of that. And so All-Star Weekend is about the fans. It's always been about the fans. And so to see the activations and now see the businesses in the organization show up because they understand the importance of, the WNBA fans.
For you, it's been a busy summer. It's only going to get busier. You're inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. You're already inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Knoxville, which I know is very special for you as a Tennessee grad. What was that, experience like? And just to know you're a Hall of Famer, and not only a basketball Hall of Famer, but start with the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame and what that specifically means for you.
It being the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, being in Knoxville was super special just because I went to school there. It's a second home to me. And, I don't know if you start picking up a basketball saying like, hey, I want to be a Hall of Famer, but as you go along the journey that if you do all the things and accomplish all the goals that you want, then that usually ends up being kind of like the sprinkle on top. And I'm super grateful for everybody that's been a part of my journey that has helped get me here. And I think just being back in Chicago, I realized how many people have really been influential in getting me into the Hall. I think I'm super humbled, and it's really been special.
How many times have you been practicing, or have you practiced yet your speech for the Naismith Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm more of I like to get it done and then, make changes at the last minute.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm a procrastinator personally,
ask my teachers in high school. I got it done. But it may have been right up to the buzzer. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll be practicing the next couple weeks. And after all, right?
A huge summer for one of Chicago area's very own, Candace. Obviously, very much getting her due as one of the basketball greats. And, I think back to her time here in Chicago. And look, that last All-Star game, I covered it back in 2022. For Sky, we're All-Stars. They're #1 in the league, coming off a championship. And now as the W has risen in popularity and breaking attendance records and viewership and the new CBA, and the Sky have kind of fallen back. It's disappointing, right, Caitlin? Because you would love for one of the marquee franchises in one of the biggest markets in the country to be, with the best teams like Vegas and New York, and it's just not the case right now, unfortunately.
No, and you hope that this is used this weekend because obviously Sky players are out at the events. They're showing their support. I'm sure a bunch of them will be in attendance at the All-Star game itself. You hope this is a motivator for them, and not so much the players too, but the ownership group, the front office group, the coaching staff. Like, hey, how awful does this feel to have the All-Star game this week and everyone ascend here on Chicago and us not be part of it? So I think it can be a motivating tool, hopefully, because like we were talking about earlier, Josh, 5 years ago, this city was celebrating a championship with Candace Parker at the front of it. So
it feels a lot longer than 5 years.
It feels way longer. And, she talks about visibility, and I hope that continues to be a message, and they use the platforms that are available to them, and especially in local television as well, to get that word out and to kind of put the stars in the living rooms of fans. So
we're here. We're always here. Local television. By the way, I asked Candace, who's the player that you did not play with, you'd most like to be on the court with? She said Olivia Miles, who's been a star since she, was obviously with Notre Dame and then TCU for a year. And she had a chance to be here in Chicago. The Sky had that opportunity to draft her and traded away that pick. So I digress. But we won't bash too much on the Sky. It's fun to have the WNBA stars back in the city.